Good evening and welcome back to Be Rich. Today I want to talk about Hong Kong and especially not about Hong Kong, how markets can not reflect reality. I'm a great fan of John Maynard Keynes and I have said several times markets can be irrational longer than we can be solvent. In India and other places, it's marketed as if you invest in passive funds, forever you will continue to make money. And it is very simple to keep investing money in passive funds, and the whole world will take care of itself. This is certainly true in countries like America and England, or maybe even Japan to an extent, where democracy is set in and one man cannot run roughshod over others. There's a crucial link between politics and economics and markets. Markets want a liberal democracy. Autocracy is only tolerated for a short period of time. Even an autocrat has to be a liberal autocrat. Now I'm going to discuss Hong Kong and how did this come to my attention. Hong Kong came to my attention because I'm a follower of Michael Berry. He runs a tweet called he tweets in called Cassandra, and he has a nasty habit. He tweets and he immediately deletes it. So you never get to know what he tweeted. It's not a permanent record. You'll have to go and search for that record. Michael Berry is very famous as Dr. Doom. I am not the original Dr. Doom. He is the original Dr. Doom. And he is very famous for shorting the market in 2007 8. He runs an asset management company called Scion Asset Management Company. And I don't know how it missed my attention till he tweeted and then I read about it. What has happened in Hong Kong is a classic study. To discuss with it, I have my good friend, my partner Anish Gupta, and we thought we will discuss this. Hong Kong, from 1997, when it handed over to China and Deng Xiaoping, its GDP has gone up 18 times. That is, the GDP of Hong Kong has gone up 18 times in the last 26 years. That is, what was a turnover of Hong Kong was 10 rupees. It has become 180 rupees today, or $10 has become $180. In this period, earnings has grown, companies have prospered, things have continued to go well. When I speak to people in Hong Kong, they say this anti democracy is confined to very few portions, and the Chinese have taken complete control of it. In fact, in the party congress, Xi Jinping said that he has complete control over Hong Kong, and the next project is Taiwan. We have to look at Michael Berry's tweet in light of what I have discovered. For a long time, I know Hong Kong markets have been in serious trouble. In spite of the Hong Kong dollar being pegged to the US dollar, people have left Hong Kong in droves. Mainland Chinese people do not invest in Hong Kong anymore. They prefer Singapore as their main destination of their wealth. What was surprising, what Michael Berry pointed out, is the Hong Kong Stock Exchange value has recently reached 1997 levels and then bounced back to 2003 levels. According to him, the Hong Kong market value is at 2003 levels. And he put out a metric. He said 777 has become 1 something. These are P by E ratio, price to book value, and other things. I am not very sharp at it to remember and tell you off the bat what it is. My good friend is there, Anish Gupta, so he will give you a brief on what is that ratios, what is the numbers, and then we will get back and discuss what went wrong in Hong Kong. Anish, what happened?
The tweet of Michael Burry says that the earnings means in 1997 the levels were 20 times earnings, 10
25, I thought.
20 times earnings, 10 times EV to sales, enterprise value to sales, 3 times book value. Now today it is 7 times earnings, 1 times earning enterprise value to sales, and 1 times tangible book. So this is what he is saying. So even markets like even we went just now, we had been to Dubai, even Singapore, which are global financial centers, but their local stock market is not a robust stock market. It is the same case because they don't have a democratic values, but they allow people, or they are a center for people to invest and the money goes through them. So why Dubai, why Singapore don't have a stock exchange which many companies are listed on, even though they are such a big financial center? Hong Kong also was a one of the financial centers, and it was an offshore for China. So basically, when China wanted, it was like when you wanted the money, you opened a center, and then you may shut it down. In India also, we have tried to open gift, but India is at least a democratic country. So these are the 3 4 parallels which we have. And now, once the UK has got out of EU, Britain is also facing its own problems. So what is the how politics impacts the economy, and how politics also impact market shifting? Earlier history, the Far East of Asia was a major economic power. Now it is in ruins, in shambles. Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, Syria,
That is not Far East, that's West.
uh,
Midwest.
Midwest. So all of these countries were once ruling the world are now in shambles. There's no market left. So markets keep shifting, and people, the so-called investors or investment gurus, say that in long term it will keep happening. But you should also look at where the trend and the market is moving. It is not necessary that cities will be alive, markets will be alive. Very few markets are alive for more than 100 years.
I want remembered of another quote of Lord Keynes. In the long term, we are all dead. So what has happened in Hong Kong is Xi Jinping has taken complete control of Hong Kong over the last 10 years. He has crushed any dissent. And therefore, the Chinese don't think Hong Kong is anymore a safe haven. The Chinese are not storing their money in ill-gotten wealth in Hong Kong. By
So
ill-gotten, I meant money which they want to hide from their government is no more in Hong Kong. It has moved to Singapore and other sources.
not even Singapore. So recently, when we were in Dubai, many people told us that the Russians and the Chinese bring crypto and exchange it for dollar without any questions asked. So this is how. So why? So this also you can link to why Bitcoin or crypto's values have, after falling steeply, have stabilized. It is because it has become a medium of exchange in the dark web to transfer wealth from one country to another.
Yes, from China there was a lot of transfer. The Bitcoin was costlier in China for some time than in the rest of the world. So that's why China has banned Bitcoin now. Basically, it will destroy the monetary system. Anybody who wants to leave China could have bought Bitcoin, flew into Dubai and converted it back into dollars.
Because that did not have exchange control rules. You could not, that was a thing which you could easily take, because even if you had gold, you cannot carry gold, such amount of
Carrying
gold.
gold is a problem.
So carrying Bitcoin is a digital
Digital, you don't have to carry it. So, what I'm very clear is if there is an authoritarian government over a long period of time, that society cannot survive. Singapore has done relatively better because Singapore has a so-called a democratic facade to it. There are elections and people change over 10 years and they don't have a parent. So Lee Kuan Yew and his children don't have a parent. They are dependent on everything for or even water from Malaysia. So they can afford not to be free. In Hong Kong is a small trading outpost of China. China can swamp it overnight, and that's what has happened. And the same thing will happen to Macau. And the threat is it's going to happen to Taiwan also.
So, but Taiwan, some resistance Hong Kong does not have its own military powers, and Taiwan is also being supported by US and the other powers until US. So US also plays an important role, because Taiwan is supplying most of the chips to the world. So US is, I don't know whether US will continue to support Taiwan once the manufacturing moves to US. I am not
And the,
sure.
the whole thing is, what I'm saying is, this is not America where you can invest in an index fund and forget it.
Yes, but how long even America, or whether
No, no,
300?
America, I don't know about 300 years. But what this current episode has shown me is Dollar is still king, and renminbi is not going to replace dollar. Dollar is at its highest level. Renminbi is at a 15-year low now. So Xi Jinping has handed over this round to the
So in
United
this we
States.
are not discussed it. So we should also then discuss about Putin, right? So these are the
Yes,
so what
Putin.
we are discussing, what is happening in the world right now is all the old Soviet and the USSR.
Exactly what Rajan wrote in Project Syndicate. There are two worlds now. There is a Russia-China axis, which is authoritarian democracy or authoritarian rule, and there is a liberal democracy on their side. The whole world is going to be in a crack. And if this continues for a longer period of time, what will happen is fund transfer cannot take place. Either you are in this camp or you are in that camp. Okay, so from Russia you cannot transfer money to this camp, and from here you cannot transfer money to that camp. Even trade will get demerged, and it could become that is China and Russia will be in one camp where trade can take place. If you choose the Chinese camp, you cannot trade with the Americans.
So this
This is what he worried about, Rajan worried, because the way America swiftly moved to cut that swift terminals for Russia. So if the Chinese are worried that they have all their reserves in American dollars, and the Americans can turn around and say this is all null and void.
So even so, coming to that point, recently seen that Chinese have been selling U.S. Treasury heavily.
Really, they have been selling.
Even the
Yeah, they are losing money. They have been selling it, but all that what has now happened is the dollar has become extremely strong. That means imports are cheaper. They are in a position to export crude. America has become self-sufficient and is exporting crude at higher prices to make money. So it's win-win for America. Joe Biden may still lose in November. You may have a new president in 24, but their institutions are so strong that they have survived this crisis. And for the next 2 decades at least, I don't see another country replacing them with, because the European Union is in shambles. The Chinese are in shambles, the Japs are in shambles. None of these guys are going to replace the US dollar for next 20 years.
So in a conference, there was a Credit Suisse guy, Zoltar, who says that this problem is not going to vanish in the next decade because the Europeans were so interlinked with Russia and US was so dependent on China that to reset this whole process,
That's why I said it will take 2 decades.
it will take a lot of time, and because of this, the money cost of money is going to go higher, and
And
all this valuation game which was happening, I don't think so can happen
Bas,
anymore.
today I don't know about the rest of the world. Byju's has sacked 12,000 people, right?
It has taken some three loan from Akash, the company which it bought.
Ola is in trouble. Oyo is in trouble. SoftBank is in trouble. Alibaba is at 80% of its peak valuation. The era of easy money is over.
So
And that is why when you look at Bloomberg television, everybody is asking for a pivot. But how will you pivot when inflation is so high?
so either you ignore inflation and
That
keep
is not possible, no, because see, inflation is always a product for the rich. In an inflationary system, the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer.
yes, and so inflation is also impacts the politics because if you keep inflation high for a long time, you're you're bound to lose the elections. So the politician is also forced to bring down
Yeah,
the.
and I don't think that the Federal Reserve can afford to cut rates at any time soon. I think 0.75 on November 2nd is given, and I think zero point 0.5 in December is given. I won't surprised if crude does not cool. I don't see much inflation coming down in December, Christmas season, shopping, etc., etc. The possibility of 0.75 being there in December is also extremely high.
So even all this is happening.
Mortgage rates in US has reached 7.3%
Yes, but the defaults haven't started yet.
yet.
So the party will only start when there are default rates going up. So default rates haven't gone up.
But what I wanted people to understand from this is you cannot put in money in if you are not in US, if you are not doing it in the S&P 500, which itself has corrected 30% this year, you should know, you should have a good advisor who tells you what to do with the Nifty and the next Nifty. And I always talked about Japan. Hong Kong is another example that if you had been sipping on the Hang Seng index from 1997 to 2023, you would have lost a lot of money.
So so people should look at micro stories with a macro angle.
Yes, macroeconomics is very important, and there are times when you can look foolish and then turn around to be right. So, investment is more about avoiding mistakes than getting right. Let's see what happens. Thank you for watching Be Rich. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Anish Gupta. We will have a couple of more conversations with him this week. And please do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification. Otherwise, you would not be notified every time we put out a video. And once again, I thank you for your support for Be Rich. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.